Well, hello everybody. Happy Tuesday. I hope everybody had a safe Memorial Day weekend. Welcome to He Set Me Free. My name is Robert. Today, I have actually quite a bit to talk about with regards to Lyft. Um, Today, I did more driving for Uber than I have in the last couple weeks, only because the shenanigans of Lyft was by far more than I could take. Today, I just did the math. I drove 65.37 miles total. I had 6 rides. My average rate per mile was 73 cents, and I made $48.08. Now, in contrast, I had 7 or 8 rides on Uber, and the money wasn't that great, but I didn't drive that much. I only drove 30 miles for Uber. And I made, just 1 second, $44.41. And my rides, I had 8 rides. They were all within 2.5 miles of my location at the time. And all of them was $5 and some change down to $3.60, I believe, depending on the ride. So it wasn't a great day, but it was better than yesterday. I'm going to tell you what, I've driven many holiday weekends or holidays. Federal holidays suck doing rideshare, but yesterday was probably by far the worst day I've ever had. I had 5 rides. I made a whopping $41. I used up more gas yesterday than I needed to. So, basically, Lyft used up a majority of my gas this morning. And 65 miles isn't that much. It was just the areas that I was having to drive in. A lot of stop and goes, accelerating, decelerating, braking, slowing down. That uses up a lot of gas. And in a car like mine, that in city I only get 22 miles to the gallon, it used up some gas. But what I want to talk about is I started noticing severe discounts on rides this weekend. And I do mean severe discounts. Rides that should have been $13, $14, $15 was $7, $8. Then whenever I'd go in and look at the ride itself, Lyft wasn't making anything. I was, but they wasn't. But then at one point on Sunday, I'd gotten a ride. And I picked these guys up before, and I gave them a bad rating. I wasn't supposed to have gotten them again, but I did. This ride was for almost the exact same price as the first time that I had picked them up. It was for $5.08. But that ride, something wasn't setting right with me, because up until that point, it was from the time I accepted the ride to the time I dropped off. That's what Lyft was paying. They were paying for mileage. They wasn't paying for time. They was only paying for mileage, which is something else too. Did you know that Lyft only pays 9 cents a minute in traveling? They claim to pay 98 cents a mile. No. Because if that was the case, like one of my rides today, I made $12 on, I should have made $16 on it, plus time. So it should have been $17. But this particular ride didn't set right with me. And I was thinking about it. And me being a man of faith, the Lord pressed on me Lyft Pink membership. So then I did some research. I asked ChatGPT, Lyft gives up to 15% off of those that have membership. Now, mind you, it's no loss for them because they get $9.99 a month from membership. So it's no loss to them. They're making money. But the driver is the one that gets screwed because you have to understand on memberships, and I did a video on this, actually quite a few of them on TikTok, that whenever they give discounts, they don't take it away from their cut. They take it away from the whole ride. And then they give the driver his half, and then they take their half. Instead of giving the driver what he's supposed to get, if it was, for the actual ride, they take it off the top. They lose nothing. Plus, they have the $9.99 membership fee. So then I picked up a passenger a couple rides later. That ride, I knew right off the bat that it was a discounted ride. As soon as the passenger got in my car, I asked if she was a LYFT Pink member. At first, she tried to play it off, and then I asked her, I said, do they take $9.99 out of your account? She goes, yes. I said, then you are. Then that explained why I didn't get that much for that ride, because I drove 11 miles to go pick her up, plus a 5 mile to drop off. 16 miles for $9. Then my next ride wasn't that far, and it was 11 miles to drop off, but I cut through the city, and so that was just a regular discounted ride. Then the next ride, that ride right there, I questioned it because it was 6.5 miles to pick up, 7 miles to drop off, and I want to say it was like $7. Another LYFT pick. She got a bad rating, and the two rides that the one that I knew that was a LYFT Pink, and then the other one I annotated in the notes that was clearly a discounted ride. Miles to pay out was not accurate. Reason for discount or for bad rating. And so they sent me 2 more rides, which I declined both of them, that were also discounted rides. Sundays are discount days. Because of yesterday being a holiday, today they decided to make up their losses yesterday in the area, and boy did they try to. That's why I got on Uber. Though the money wasn't great, I didn't have to drive as much, and I still made just as much money. Yeah, I had 8 rides. I had 6 rides on Lyft. There's literally only a $2 difference. $2 difference or $4 difference. Whatever. Watch out for these discounts whenever you're out driving. If it doesn't look right, then it's more likely a heavily discounted ride or a LYFT Pink membership. This is something, it never occurred to me out of all the years that I've been driving for them. Their memberships. On Uber, yes, but then you forget about it because not that many people uses our Uber One, because Uber One is mainly towards their delivery system, Uber Eats. But on Lyft, the main attraction is the saving of money. If you use Lyft a lot, that you save money because it's a 15% discount. Something else that kind of struck me too is on these heavily discounted rides, they don't charge for pickup at all. On a lot of rides during the course of the week or longer distance rides, it'll say pickup included. Not a one. I had several of them like that today. Pickup was not included. And then the one ride that I had that I actually had reported a few months ago because he's a minor, that ride was took time to get over there. But then it tried to take me the long way to his school. He goes, why does it say 22 minutes? I said, don't worry about that. I know where we're going. I got it down to 6 miles because from his house to the school where he goes to school at was 6 miles. And that's how you know whenever it starts to try to take you long ways, constantly pinch out your screen. Look for alternate routes. Because remember, like I said, you save money and time by taking shortcuts. That app will fight you tooth and nail not to do so. Now, there is a warning with this. Sometimes what they will do is they will give you rides that you cannot take shortcuts on. That way so that they can make up the difference. Why? I don't know. They still charge the passenger the same amount of money. But this is the games that they play. And the games have been really severe with Lyft over the last week, which is why I drove for Uber more than I typically do. Might have to get some bird food tomorrow. The birds are hungry. They're at the bird feeder, and I haven't gotten food for them in a few days. Sorry, this is a little side curve. I like watching the birds. That it will fight you. It will always try to take you the long way. They got me yesterday with a ride because I didn't pinch out. And I ended up going farther than I should have. Well, I made up the difference on another ride. But I only had 3 rides on Lyft and a couple rides, or 2 rides on Uber, I think. No, 3 rides on Uber. So I had 6 rides. But watch out for this information. Keep an eye out. Ask your passengers, are you a Lyft member? Pink member? Then you know. And if they ask why, I said because this fare doesn't look like what it should. And I'm just trying to get a feel for it. Knowledge is power. Something else that happened a lot today too. And it happened on a lot of rides. I'd accept a ride. Like the high school kid, it said it was 6.4 miles to pick up, 6.4 mile, and I should have known something was different, but I just kind of glanced at it, to drop off. As soon as I accepted that ride, the miles to pick up significantly changed. And I do mean significantly. That also happens on on 3 more rides. That whenever I accepted the ride, the mileage changed significantly to pick up. And I said something about it on X, that Lyft was manipulating ride. Of course, they didn't respond, but about the high school student that I tweeted out that I had reported earlier 4 months ago, that one they responded to. But whenever I called them out on Lyft or on X with regards to manipulating rides to get drivers to accept the rides, it changed because there was one ride I specifically called out. I said I had to cancel a ride because it said 3.4 miles to pick up, 3.4 miles. That might be a precursor. Keep that in mind. It's just now hitting me. To drop off. Whenever I started the ride, it was 4.5 miles. Cancel. Because from where I was at Magnolia Table, they put it at 3.5 miles to pick up over on Sanger. Well, no, that's not right. That's actually pretty close. Unless they change the route. Now, they will do that sometimes too. You need to look at it. That they will change the route to try to get more miles out of you, thinking that you're not going to pinch. Stop for a second, pinch in, look at the map, and go accordingly. See, because right there where Magnolia Table is at here in Waco, it's on the circle. So all you got to do is come out the parking lot, hang a right, and hit Valley Mills Drive. Now, sometimes what they'll try to do is get you to go out to I-35 Access Road, go down to 18th Street, and try to come back around and have you come back around to Valley Mills Drive. No. Know your city, know your street systems, and take shortcuts when you can. Even if you only take off a quarter of a mile, that's a quarter of a mile in gas. And that's the way that you have to look at it. They're not paying for gas. You're paying for gas. You decide what routes you want to take. That is your right as a driver. Constantly, I'm constantly doing this on my phone. Pinching. Constantly. Because I'm looking for shortcuts. Do the same thing. And if they're discounted rides, oh hell yeah. Take the shortcuts. Take them. Or, if you're too far away, and if you can spare to do it, cancel the ride. You don't have to accept it. And talk to your passengers. They'll be upfront about how much Lyft is charging them. All you gotta do is ask. But some of them's like they want to hide it because they know that they're getting heavily discounted rides, and then you'll see it. Well, you already know based off of the miles to pick up and the miles to drop off, and if the dollars aren't adding up, give them a bad rating. And then where it says add note, put it in there, ride was heavily discounted. My mileage to dollar ratio does not add up to what I'm being paid out. Let them know that you're paying attention. So, I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Has a great week. Get out on the roads, earn a lot of money. Be safe while you're out there. Pay attention. Know your shortcuts. Know your cities. And something else too, if you get into areas that you don't want to work, don't be afraid to hit last ride and leave the area. Alright? Leave the area. Something Lyft is notorious for doing is after you leave an area, they will send you back into that area to pick somebody up to bring them back out of that area. To get you to, so that they can charge more money for pickup and screw you over. If it's an area that you don't mind, if you can find a place to park, sit in there, and I guarantee you what, they won't give you a ride. They will send you out of that area to pick somebody up to bring them back into that area. That's the games that they pull. All right. Another countermeasure, what you can do too, and this is what I do. If I don't want to work at an area, I'll go in and I'll log on to Lyft. My very first thing that I do, like whenever I'm driving into Waco, and I log on, they won't send me a close ride, ever. That's going into the Belmead area. They're not going to do it. Log on, go into an area that you know that is a heavy lift area that you don't want to work, turn it on. They will not send you a ride because it's a close ride. They'll send you, Uber does the exact same thing too. They'll send you to a farther ride outside the area, which is where you want to be. Because with Lyft, your first ride area, that's where you're going to be zoned at most of the time. Doesn't always work out that way, but that's what I have found. So I hope everybody has a great day, and we will talk to y'all later.